SHIRO Saturn SHIRO.
What up, what up, what up?
Hey, how's it going,
SaturnDave,
guys?
TraynoCo, SHIRO Show
Welcome
Friday.
To the show. Welcome to the show. You know, Dave, I was thinking maybe I should start with a new intro.
Yeah, sure.
So when the block goes, I should be like, "Are you ready?" Dun-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, okay, that works. You gonna do it? Go ahead.
No.
We'll start again. I'm just kidding.
Do.
So you've been listening to a lot of Korn.
Yeah, I mean, you can see I'm going blind by all the Korn I've been listening to.
I can see. Wait. That's is that your favorite song?
No, it's Clown.
Clown. Okay.
Well, actually, that's hard. There's so many good ones. I like Chutes and Ladders because the bagpipes are fun, but yeah, Clown's actually the intro hits really good. Intro guitar is really good.
I really used to like Freak on a Leash, but I realized that got played out a lot on the radio, so
It's a good ass song though.
it's a good song though, you know.
Falling Away From Me is pretty good too.
Falling away from me.
Bono, down, bono. And then the one I do like,
down.
yeah, the one I do like though that's I guess it's kind of underrated, but not really. Is Y'all Want a Single?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
one's actually pretty fun. I know it's kind of during the era that people hate of Korn, but
Yeah.
I think it's a fun song. I don't know. I'm a fan of songs that are fun. Like they don't always have to be serious, dark, undertoning, brooding stuff off the first Korn album like that.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know, it can be something like something fun. You know.
Yeah, I agree. They were also at Woodstock. We were talking about Woodstock '99, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, Limp Bizkit incited riot and trying to folks break the sound stage or the soundboards and stuff like
sound
that.
booth, yeah.
But I mean,
Burn half the place
Korn
down.
was there. Korn was there too, and they also put on like quite a show, you know. But they didn't really like explicitly tell anybody to destroy stuff or destroy their fellow man. They were just, you know, they just put on a really high energy show, and it kind of it helped incite riots. Yeah, it was quite the. And then of course, Rage gets on stage and just calls the entire thing like a corporate. I forget what their quote was, but
They're
basically
just like, those of which that are American dreams, those of which that are American dreams, those of which that are American. I don't know. I always love that. That's like my favorite. I always laugh when that comes on.
Yeah.
I forget which song that part's on though. I'll probably Google it, but that one's pretty good.
But yeah, oh man, I miss Rage so much. Like I would love to see them all together, like the original.
I was close. They were coming here to Arizona, but they canceled.
Really?
Yeah.
That actually doesn't surprise me. You know, it's kind of rare to actually get to see them live these days. I wanted to really shout out real quick David Zaney, Paul Bort. We got Dan Thrax, of course, with us here in the chat, but he's also in the YouTube chat. Hey, Retrospectors, what's up? Tom Fun.
Yo.
And that's everybody who we got so far commenting, I guess. So everybody leave a thumbs up right away before you forget, and we'll get this show on the road. We got Dragons of Saturn as well. Hey, Dragons, how's it going? And Shadow Mask.
Got Paul in the chat. He said he's not much of a musical man, but speaking of Music Man, that's actually one of my favorite musicals.
Oh, Music Man, right.
There were bells on a hill.
We
and
got
I
trouble.
Never heard them singing.
Right here in River City.
No, I never heard them at all
Okay.
till there was you.
Now, that was a Beatles cover. Paul McCartney did a cover of that, right?
Music Man.
That's right, from Music
Yeah.
Man.
That's kind of where I heard it from. Just don't tell anybody.
Shaboopy. Shaboopy. Shaboopy.
Oh hell no! I hate that song. I hate that song because of Family Guy now. I hate that song. I
Classic,
just want to cut my arm straight off. So weirdly enough, Seth MacFarlane's an amazing singer. I love his classic album. I just hate Family Guy, but I mean, let's be. I mean, he like most of the stuff he does is hits. Like just the animations kind of. But that show he did, the Orville's really good. His music's really good. Just you know.
Hey,
it's kinda
Scott.
like me with
Oh, I was gonna say, hey, Sasquatch, Perkin, and Khan. What's up, guys?
Sweet Tom Thumb seems like he got a copy of Cotton 2 from Japan. That's a good ass game. Go
Oh, really?
Play that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm jealous. I don't own a copy of Cotton 2, but would like to. That or Boomerang, either one. But yeah,
They're
no, they're
too expensive for me.
like $120 or something.
Like I think they're about 200 now.
Okay, I'm about 4 years behind.
Yeah.
last time I actually looked into buying a copy, it was like
saturated with
120.
ODEs now, so I'll double check because a lot of game prices jumped down, so maybe
Yeah.
Maybe they might have went.
There was a Switch release, but I would rather. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I always say I wouldn't discourage anybody from buying the Switch releases if you don't own a Saturn, you don't have an ODE or whatever. But I'd rather play it on an ODE on my hardware than play it on my Switch, if I'm being honest. But definitely, it's a way to support Sega.
I'm seeing 125 byte now, 119 byte now, free shipping. So okay, I guess maybe I was wrong. I think Boomerang though is pretty expensive though.
Actually, who would you be supporting if you bought that? Success? But I mean, Success directly? Okay, even better. Success. I mean, support the developer directly. There you go. Yeah, because it would... Say that again, Dan?
And I guess City Connection, too.
City Connection, sure. They're publishing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Hey, we got something. Talking about publishing, right?
New Saturn games.
So there's
Saturn games.
Okay, go together. Here goes. Okay, fine.
Oh, were you late? Was I early? I was
no, that's okay. I was teasing I was gonna tease it, but no. Here it is. Red Moon, Lost Days.
Yeah, by our very own Sansagolo.
Sealed and ready to be unpackaged on live air. Okay, this is Neuromage Studio. Of course, our friend Sansagolo, who's been in our chat and been doing the annual contest from Sega Extreme. This is the Retro Room. What else does it say here? Budget Nostalgia. The Retro Room. Yeah.
The plastic is too strong.
It does have a. It does have kind of like a really. Like it's open on the top and the bottom, the shrink wrapping, but. Yeah. It's gonna be. That's strong, gonna just be down to like whatever their process is, But yeah. So here we go.
Strong shrink wrap. So
they opted for the Japanese jewel case look, which is great. I mean, it's gonna be a lot more affordable. I was talking to Pat about the idea of doing this kind of stuff, doing publishing stuff, and I mean, doing the long boxes is just prohibitively expensive. Well, you have to pass that cost on to folks, and this is actually $29.99. Am I right? $29.99?
$24.99.
Oh, 24. Okay, I was thinking. Okay, sorry. Is it free shipping?
I didn't check.
Okay.
You're the one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it is a 2-disc release. So here you go. You
get the.
It's a little confusing. $29.99 is the action replay card, and they have that linked on the sales page.
Right.
It smells good.
Which is an important thing to note is that while they do sell boot carts for you to boot this with, if you don't have one already, I think the assumption is that most folks who would be buying this kind of thing probably already have BYOB, bring your own boot method. But if you don't have one, you can buy one from them, but it's not included in this release. And I was actually thinking, back in the day, I was thinking, okay, if we were to publish a game like this, if we were to try to do that, would the expectation be that we, like Josh Prod was talking about it back in the day, bringing that fighting game to the Saturn? And I think, folks in chat were talking about, okay, would the expectation be that they provide a boot cart with the game? But then it's like, you'd have to have two separate releases, a release that has a boot cart and a release that's a la carte, which I guess is how Sega did it with the RAM cart, right? You could get, the Street Fighter game with the RAM cart or just a la carte, but I don't know. Anyway. Looks good.
It's pretty legit. I like it.
Yeah.
It's got all these cool staff, writer, programmer, user interface, game writer, programmer, user interface is Sansagolo, game arts by Andrea Kitani, music by Guilherme Crispim and Freddie Sanchez, editor is Kake Augusto, and it's made in Joe Engine. So good stuff. But yeah, it's very good artwork. I like it. Very high quality artwork. It's got cool stuff on the back of it. Cool logos and stuff. It's all neat.
Yeah.
It's a press disc.
Two press discs. And yeah. Cool. Really I mean, I admit I've had this on my satiator for a while. And of course, folks can download this game for free and play it. You can also donate. They have a web page where you can donate one time or, you know, support them. If you want to be able to give, if you've already played it for free and you want to support them, or, you know, now you can just buy the physical release and you'll be supporting them as well that way. So that's awesome.
So one thing I'm curious about is this one, this is gonna, I think is the one online that you can download, is that just the demo of it, or is that the full game? Or is this the full game of it?
I thought they released the full game.
Yeah, you can
for free.
The full game for free. You can name your price. It says because it's
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a name your price kind of thing. So folks could download it for free. If they love it, then they could go back and they could donate, or you can name your price when you buy it. Or you can buy the physical version. So that's awesome.
So these are usually the use of you. Those of you that don't know, the Red Moon Lost Days is a text-based adventure. It's a visual novel. So you just go. I'll try to see if I can get. No, it's all blurry. It's really small, but you basically just go and basically get this. You're basically this girl that lost her parents and got picked up, and she's part of this federation. You have to unsolve a mystery. It's really interesting. It's like a whole military thing. Yeah, it's basically a novel, visual novel hybrid, RPG visual novel hybrid. It's about Kuyo Tawa, a pilot who, after losing contest with an army general, sets out on a journey to Egypt to investigate his disappearance. So it's a cool little investigation thing, cool little visual novel. I played it on, I think we both played it on for the game competition.
Yeah, for the game competition.
In 21, I think.
Yeah, it's got some little RPG vibes to it too, you know, some walking around. So, question for Xenos, who happens to be here in the chat with us. You thinking about calling up or, you know, messaging the Retro Room and saying nod, nod, wink, wink? I don't know, whenever you happen to be completely finished with Blue Skies?
I've already talked to Sansigolo about it.
Okay, well, there you go.
Nice.
I've told him that he gave me the Twitter handle of the guy and said he would probably do it, but I'll leave that up to him, and I'll do something when I have more to show. I don't want to go there and then don't have anything. Actually, I'm working on Blue Skies right at this moment while I'm watching your stream.
Good use of time. You're burning the candles at burning the candle at both ends, or killing two birds with one stone. But you know, I respect that, and I mean, you know, Seven Shades has said the same thing. He's like, as much as folks love Cube Cat, it's not where he wants it to be in order to consider releasing it in any way other than, you know, updated demos, whatever. So, you know. Yeah, no, I respect that, but that's cool. Let's see here. So, what else, Pat? What's up? What's been going on with you aside from getting that and listening to Korn?
Just back in the cassette stuff, listening to that. Haven't really been looking for cassettes. I just have so much music. It's like I'm not sure what I want to listen to next. Maybe I'll find some Korn stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some searching. I haven't had really a weekend on myself, so I'll have to find a weekend, but. Yeah, but besides that, it's all good with me. Hopefully everything's good with you. Yeah,
I'm exhausted. I'm taking Meg out for birthday dinner. 40
nice.
Years old. You don't. What is it? It's dirty 30. I don't know what 40 is. It's just midlife. I don't know. Anyway, we're going out for with a bunch of friends for like a birthday dinner for her, and then we're going to Yosemite. So I'm getting ready to pack and everything like that and go to Yosemite with the kids. That's gonna be fun.
Exciting.
I will not be here next week on SHIRO Show, but Pat will be holding down the fort.
I have an idea. So I have a fun idea that I'm going to try. I don't know how well it's going to be, but basically, next week is Comic-Con. I will be there, Phoenix Comic-Con or Phoenix Fan Fusion, whatever the hell they renamed it.
Okay.
So what I think I was going to do is I was going to bring my phone there, and I'm going to stream from the convention floor like we did for
That's
PRGE,
an awesome idea.
Just talk, look around the halls. You know, it's pretty casual. Probably.
Yeah.
Not gonna have much news or any news at all. Just like talking.
Are you going to have Wi-Fi access there, unlike PRGE, or I don't know?
No, I'm probably just gonna do the internet on my phone.
Internet on your phone? Okay, I mean it worked. It worked. Yeah. That's an awesome idea. I'm not. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to watch because I'm gonna have like little to no signal where I'm going, from what I understand, but I'll definitely catch the VOD afterwards.
So yeah, I will. I'll go and film that, or I'll do that, and then at least I hope I do. I hope I don't forget. But yeah, let's look around, check out the floor, see what's going on. I'll show everyone the convention I usually go to. See and find people that are cosplaying as Sega characters. And probably just go in the game room, play some games, go to the retro area, and like see if I can find any Saturn stuff. If not, I'll just cry on stream.
Yeah. Well, that too will be entertaining and interesting to watch.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. So you're gonna bring your some of your CRTs? Are you going just for fun as a visitor, or are you running some game stations?
Oh, I'm just going for fun.
Okay, cool.
Doing game stations there. That's the other one, Game On Expo.
Game On Expo, okay.
In Arizona, that's where I do that one. So
nice.
I'm probably not gonna do. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's just gonna be a fun thing, looking around, playing Magic and stuff. So not too bad. I'm excited to check it out, though. It should be
you gonna cosplay?
A lot of fun. I'm just going naked. No,
okay.
No, I'm just gonna go as Patrick.
Okay, that works.
Just Patrick.
Just Patrick. Okay.
Probably.
With that, let's see. Do we have any news to talk about? I guess we do, right? We have some.
What news do we have?
What news do we have? Well, let's see here. We'll scroll. We talked about Panda's video, right? The bug video. We've got a Best of Saturn. We've got an ODE
No, I think
discussion.
we talked about it, did we?
Oh, did we not?
It came out last Saturday.
Well,
right?
let's talk about it again. Let's talk about it. No, you're right. We didn't talk about it. We were hyping people up for it. That's right, because it came out on Saturday. So
yeah,
let's talk about it. It was excellent. Don't you think? I'm really glad that he went back and did this, because his channel has grown so much, like in scope, and of course, like he just keeps diving deeper into these games and getting these exclusive interviews and stuff like that. And we had this interview with David Warhol that we put in the magazine. That was also great fodder for getting more details and more stuff into going back and revisiting this video, because not every game is probably going to justify that. Maybe like what is it, NHL hockey. Probably don't need to go back and redo that unless he ends up getting a interview with Gray Matter or something, right? Down the road, maybe. Yeah, but maybe, as it is, Bug is, it's a touchstone for Saturn. Considering that it's a exclusive. Well, okay, it was released on PC, and it was released on the Saturn, and I think that's it. So, kind of exclusive. Hasn't seen any kind of re-releases or anything like that. So in that way, it's kind of locked down to either old operating system or a virtual machine, or playing it on the Saturn. But do you have any? You have anything you want to mention about the video? Anything that hit you?
No, I'm just joking. I really liked it. I like the interviews. It was a throwback hearing Kay and that whole interview that we did with David Warhol, because
yes,
it's been years since we did it, and since we had all the guys on the cast doing that. I think that was 19 it was 18 when we did that, because it was right before I moved to my new place.
Warhol was like, it was very early 19 or very late 18. I can't recall. Yeah, it was one of those though. And you're absolutely right. Like, I've been re-editing some of these old interviews to upload them from the archive, and just hearing Kay's voice, and hearing you all talk to it's a lot of fun, but it's also a trip, because we haven't done any kind of recording with him for a long time. We saw him at PRGE, but yeah, those were good days. Those were some good times.
Great. Yeah, no, it was really great. It was good to revisit, and I liked it overall. I love the info. And also he announced that they actually removed that really wrong quote from Wikipedia for Steven Spielberg.
Right. So that never actually happened. It was just kind of like he said, she said.
It was a joke thing like Kevin Robinson did, R.I.P.
Right.
Yeah, it was part of the pitch video.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like I guess it sounds like something that Steven Spielberg might
Robinson,
say.
sorry.
Like, you know, he had a great relationship with Sega. They showed him a lot of stuff. Like, you know, the Spielberg controller, the 3D analog controller, that actually did happen. You know, he was one of the first people, or the first person from the outside to see it. But so it's like stuff like that gets proliferated, and before you know, it's like everybody's regurgitating the same thing that they read from, I don't know, Sega Retro or whatever. No offense, but
I mean, we have to get rid of that quote, the wrong information from the Wackenroder thread, the Wackenroder article. It says that it uses the Shining Force 3 engine.
Right. Yeah. And the information on Wikipedia about the Saturn's architecture is very much rooted in it's heavily cites Next Generation or Edge magazine, which was information that they got from a quote unquote Sega employee, and it contradicts recent interviews with Hideki Sato and the folks at Hitachi. So, you know, Wikipedia, you know, they got to get their act together.
Great information.
And the thing is, it's like sites, aggregate sites like Sega Retro, they're getting a lot of their information from Wikipedia, you know, so it's just, it all rolls downhill, you know. It's like if somewhere along the line, we have to get it right, you know.
Not to mention YouTube reviewers that just look at Wikipedia articles and write and say it on stream. Exactly.
So, like, that's the wonderful thing about Nick and his videos is he's a journalist by trade, you know. Due diligence is his job. If he gets it wrong, it's his reputation, and he has to make a big apology, you know, his station, because he represents his station, you know. So if he gets the facts wrong, it's not only an embarrassment to himself, but it's an embarrassment to his station, you know, and he could lose his job over something like that. So he takes due diligence very seriously. And so I notice with Nick, it's like whenever something is said, but there's no citation, he's like, okay, well, we need to find the citation. It's not enough to just say, okay, somebody else said it and they copied it from somebody else who said it. So enough people agree that it was said. Okay, but where was it said? You know, show me where it was said. Okay, well, he was at CES. No, he wasn't. He wasn't even at CES. So it's impossible, you know. Spielberg, you know, it's impossible for Spielberg to have said something at CES 95 when he wasn't there. You know, so anyway, I really appreciate his due diligence, and that was one of the best parts of this video. Aside from that, he also went kind of deep into how difficult the game is in the US and how that was really because of the whole rental market thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Which we even talked about in our recent podcast, our mainline podcast about 2D games like Astall and stuff like that. You know, how much more difficult they were, I guess, tweaked or whatever, you know, tuned down, I would say, made unnecessarily difficult for the US rental market when it just was unnecessary. Exactly.
Stefan Spielberg used to be my dentist.
The takeaway though is definitely play the Japanese version. I mean, it's nice if you own a long box or whatever and you have a lot of nostalgia for this game, but if you really want to play it and have fun with it these days, unless you have a ton of time on your hands, then just do yourself a favor and play the Japanese version.
Or stick the Japanese version in the case for the English version.
Hey, that's an idea. You know, no, but then, so anyway, that's an idea.
Yeah,
so many games like that.
Yeah, 8-Bit SNK boy said that he picked up a Japanese copy of Bug during the stream or the Pandemonium video.
Nice.
So that's pretty good.
It's, you know, and I love those games. As far as style goes and personality, there's a ton of it. It's dripping with it. It's very, it's just dripping with that early half of the 90s kind of, you know, Sega Saturn. It is, you know, just like games like Clockwork Knight as well. They're very, very, very characteristic of the Saturn. And honestly, the second game was great too, with the whole graveyard. And the music is fantastic. I highly recommend folks check it out. But do yourselves a favor and play the Japanese version.
Yeah, play the Japanese version. Don't hurt yourselves over it. It's no
Best of
point in doing
Saturn. Best of Saturn. We're talking Elevator Action Returns, or EAR squared. EAR squared, because it was like Elevator Action Returns squared.
I
That's
like
how-
ears.
Yeah. You like ears?
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
an ear
in
dude.
ears, man?
Yeah. I'm all about those ears.
I know the guy who drives John Voight's car. That would
Watch that again. It's been so.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So Elevator Action Returns. You big fan of this game?
Yes, I'm a big elevator. I'm a big ear fan. I'm a fan
Big
of
ear fan. It's a beautiful game. 2D pixel art by Ving. Was this released on? Let's see if he mentions it. So I know it was in the arcade. It was Taito, but was this on the STV, or was this just on Taito hardware?
There's Taito hardware. I don't think it was
Taito
STV.
hardware. It wasn't STV. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to spread misinformation. I couldn't remember, but definitely wonderful arcade game, and it came over perfectly to the Saturn. Perfect translation. This has been released recently, I believe, as a City Connection.
Taito Classic.
Exactly. So plenty of ways to play it. Highly recommend it. It's an amazing, it's a fun game. You're going down the elevator, different floors, you're getting shot at, you can duck under bullet fire, you can go into different doors and download data or whatever, and you got to get to the exit, and so it's a really cool game that plays it's kind of like platforming, but at the same time it's also like one of those single screen, Donkey Kong Jr. kind of games, or I don't know, what is it? What's something else that you would compare this to? Because it's so unique. Hotel Mario or something. I don't know. It's like a single screen
it's like
arcade
a good
game.
Hotel Mario.
Yeah, it is a much better, much better. Oh, and the audio is great too. Con is right.
Exactly.
Excellent game.
It's bomb. Yeah, I think my favorite thing is probably the names of the people and the guns. So Cart Bradfield,
Yeah.
Edie Barrett, and then Jad the Taff. Some of the worst names I've heard ever.
Jad the Taff, Edie Beret. I don't know. Yeah, those are kind of funny names. Cart Bradfield.
And I like their guns.
The pixel
Globe
art.
18.
Yeah.
Berlata M92F, and then Desert Eagle.
It's not even Berlata. It's Burlta. Burlta.
Berlta, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the M92F is a real gun. The Glock 18, M92F.
Oh, that Desert Eagle is actually a Desert Eagle. The way they spelled
I posted
it.
a thing on the article with that.
Desert
Eagle, like a cake.
Very sweet.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Just like Ma used to shoot me with.
Glog 18. I love it.
Glug, glug, glug.
I like that the building is shot down by an elevator while you're going through it. Like it's very ridiculous. Like the entire building collapses while you're playing the game.
Right. Yeah.
That's half the fun.
Crush the old order. Got like
Live free or die.
Most Taito games, I don't know if I can think of a Taito game that's not great. At least on the Saturn. Most Taito games on the Saturn are very easy to recommend. And Ving, they published a few, so Ving published a few things on the Saturn, but all in Japan, so they did a lot of good stuff. Yeah,
no, I really love Ving. Love Taito. Shout out Taito.
What other games help me out in the comments? What other games, maybe Con or 8-Bit SNK Boy knows, what other games did Ving publish? Since I can't just readily look it up right now. I know they published.
I looked it up and there was like
several
nothing.
of the games. No?
It might have been a short list.
Night Striker. That was the one that I was thinking, and that was another awesome game,
They also did Bubble Symphony, Volified, Splatterhouse, Night Strike, Metal Black,
which has also been re-released. Dan, was Metal Black the one that was released as a compilation with Elevator Action?
It actually was.
I thought that was Cleopatra Fortune.
Cleopatra Fortune and Metal. Okay.
No, Cleopatra Fortune was with Bubble Bobble. I thought, right? Or Bust a Move.
Seems like an odd pairing.
Give me a second and I will look it up.
Maybe it was Night Striker. Maybe maybe it was Night Striker and Metal Black. Now I can't remember.
Oh, it was Metal Black. And
no,
Busted
Night
Collection.
Striker has not been re-released.
Hasn't been
as
re-released?
like a CD collection thing.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm just imagining things.
Yeah, no,
Bubble Symphony
I
is
have an
Ving
article
too,
here.
yeah.
It was Dan's article here. Busted Move and Metal Black.
Oh, okay. Odd pairing,
Have you
but
found it?
great games. Why not?
They're really good.
Bust a Move 3 is a lot of fun on Netlink, I have to say. As soon as I was
It
able to
actually
get
is.
better internet. And some folks in our community are really good at Bust a Move 3. I've known, like Double Dime, Lee.
I didn't hear my name on that list.
I haven't played you yet at Bust a Move.
You'll
Are
have
you
to
really
play me,
good?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
Wee Man, he's really good at Bust a Move. I think Joe is even pretty decent at Bust a Move. Although I know like Sega Rally is like his game, but he's decent at most of these games because he's tested out a lot of them online for a long time. But
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Bust a Move. I like busting some moves.
or Puzzle Bobble, if you will. I guess technically it's Puzzle Bobble 3 because it's Japanese.
It is funny. I have Puzzle Bobble 1 and Bust a Move 2 on my Neo Geo, but it's the different versions. Bust a Move again, and then just Puzzle Bobble. So it's not like I don't have a one set of English or Japanese ones. It's like the Japanese first one, the English first one. Sorry, the Japanese first one, the English second one, which I think is really funny.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing that just was announced. And when it was announced
today,
when it was announced, at first I was just like, oh, okay. I don't have a PCFX or a CDI. I do have a Dreamcast, but that's already got an ODE in it, and PlayStation. So I was like, okay. But then when you click through and you see like how many, so Fixel just put out like, look at how many consoles this thing supports. Go ahead and lead this conversation. Well, you wrote this up. Okay, so go ahead and lead this conversation. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
So basically, I got linked to this like by 3 different people at the time.
Right.
And added, and I was like, yeah, I know about it.
Your phone was blowing up, right?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's cool. It's a Saturn, Dreamcast, and CDI ODE. What's the big deal? And then I looked at it and it's like, oh, it's that, and it's a PlayStation, and all the Sega CD variants.
Right.
And all 3 other ones that we're not sure yet. So one of them is like there's hints in the article. There's underneath it so it supports Dreamcast. Wow, it supports Dreamcast VA0 to VA2. That's kind of insane. So you could potentially put the Sakura Wars or a non-copy one in that, and it should work, right? So that should be the first that Dreamcast supports all of them. So that's cool. That's pretty intense. So that way, if you have the Sakura Wars one or some of the weird revisions, you could put an OD in it and use it as a ODE Saturn. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is in the same line as like the mode, right? Being like Dreamcast's Saturn, but I mean, this is doing so much more.
It's on
like
crack.
Ow! Like it boggles my mind how this is possible, you know? And I mean, it does make me wonder a little bit about compatibility, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, the quality from his stuff in the past has been great, and a lot of folks are behind it. A lot of folks, you know, seem to feel good about it. I know, like Derek, I think this is a must buy for him, right? Because of the PCFX, and he just got a PCFX.
Oh no, that's another one. This is another ODE.
Oh, this is.
So he's releasing a PCFX one, but also this is another one on top of that.
Okay, this is not all the same. Help me understand. This is not all the same device. Introducing.
No, because there's 2 links there. There's one for the
FODE. Okay.
PCFX and the faux.
Yes,
what's it called?
Okay, upcoming PCFX ODE, which you linked here, which is this PCFX ODE. Okay, so it is not.
That's the first one. That's the other one is releasing, but there's a beta one and a pre-order. That's the second link.
And this one that does it all. Mentions CDI, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It supports Dreamcast, the Trinity Variation, Sega Saturn 20 and 21 pen, PlayStation PUs. I'm actually not familiar with these revisions. I don't know if that's a lot of them, but assume it is. Sega CD 1, 2, XI, and CDX variants.
Yeah.
and 3 mystery ones that I'm not sure about. The only one I'm sure about is the feline. I'm pretty sure that's referencing the jaguar, but I don't know what mechanism and friend is. If anybody has any guesses, put in the chat. But I don't know.
Mystery friend, Amiga.
Oh, Amiga.
Amiga
CD32,
CD32, probably.
I get it. That's clever. Amiga.
Mystery feline and mystery friend.
That only leaves the mechanism.
Mystery mechanism. Machine. You got any insights, Knight?
No, the only one I knew was Amiga and Jaguar.
Right. Mystery mechanism.
What's a mechanism?
What's a synonym for
Turbo Graphics?
PC Engine?
Or PC, yeah.
The engine? Mechanism engine?
Yeah, probably PC Engine. Probably what that means. Yeah.
Yeah, an engine, a mechanism, an engine. So yeah, it would be PC Engine. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad we got that all sorted out. I was hoping it would be a longer segment, but no. I'm glad that we got that sorted. So
I mean, is there anything else that it could be? I don't know. Like it doesn't say like mystery fruit, so it's not the Pippin.
Scotty Pippin.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So it's probably PC Engine, but
Yep. So I guess PC Engine, Jaguar, and Amiga, probably the 32 CD. I guess if you like the last two, I guess it's kind of neat. I wouldn't waste my money.
The keyword in his the keyword here was and that I didn't read. So I was thinking wow, this is like the holy. This is like it slices and dices and does julienne fries. You know, I'm thinking like it does everything, and it's like okay. There's an and here. It's very clear. These are two different things, but yeah, no, that's rad though.
Ampersand.
So you got Sega CD, CDI, kind of random, PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Saturn, and Amiga CD32, PC Engine, and potentially the Jaguar CD maybe.
Yeah. Shadow asks if it's a drop-in ODE for PlayStation. I actually, oh sorry. Dang. Actually, I do not know. I assume it is. There actually was one that was announced a drop-in PlayStation one. So I assume this is going to be a drop-in one, but also I could be wrong. I hope it is. That'd be really cool to get a drag and drop solution.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it performs, especially on some of these other consoles. The only thing is, I would love, I could try it out on the Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, PlayStation, but I kind of got rid of my Sega CD. I would not be caught dead with an Amiga or a Jaguar, and I don't have a PC Engine CD or a Turbo CD.
Wait. You would not be caught dead with a Commodore or Amiga?
No, just the CD32.
Amiga 32. Sorry, the Amiga 32. The Amiga's good.
Yeah, Commodore Amiga is great. The CD32, I think, could play. Yeah, so like the CD32 had some questionable games on it, but again, like, what's worse, a CDI or a CD32? I would really like to know.
I would probably crush my head before playing either one of those consoles.
They do look great. Dragons is right. If that's
They're
what he's talking about,
consoles,
they're nice looking consoles. I want to own one just because I'm a hardware nerd. But I don't. It's true. Like all these years, I've had opportunities to buy a Jaguar. In fact, there was somebody locally who was selling a Jaguar for like $200. Then I was thinking like, so yeah, I could get the Jaguar, maybe one game, probably be like Cybermorph. Are you ready? Where did you learn to fly? Where did you learn to fly?
To be an asshole?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, okay, so I'm gonna have to be like dropping some serious cash for more games, or I get like a flash card, but what am I actually going to play on it? And that's the thing, whereas like I could justify the 3DO, I don't know that I could justify the Saturn. Apologies to anybody who is a big 3D.
You should justify the Saturn. I was like, oh, you just...
I don't know if I could justify the Saturn. No, yeah. I don't know if I could justify the Jaguar.
And have a wall of goddamn games, I can't justify it.
Yeah, no. I just got fired from this podcast.
I can't hide your video, so you'll have to do it for me.
I know, I will.
You'll have to hit the hide
your
button.
video is breaking up right now. I don't know what's going on with it.
Just getting in the Matrix. You know how it is.
Yeah, it's Cox.
Yeah, lots of cocks.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
that's
need to get
true.
that.
Alien. Okay, so Alien versus AVP, Tempest, NBA Jam, great version of Tournament Edition on there. There's also
There's a
Rayman.
really shitty version of Pitfall you could play.
Rayman is great. Pitfall, I don't know enough to be able to say, but yeah,
It's
no, there's
garbage.
a
Don't play it.
handful of good games on the Jaguar. No, yeah, it's true. There's a handful of good games.
Yeah, but it's like a handful of good games is really worth it to play a game for 5 minutes and never touch it again. I don't
Unless it's
think
just
so.
one of those games that you just really, really loved. Oh, I think Doom on the Jaguar is good. Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that the one that doesn't have music in it?
Yeah, but you can just blast you can just blast the soundtrack on a CD or something like that, right?
Fair.
It plays better than Saturn or 3DO versions, you know.
That's fair.
Man, you guys
Yeah.
better hope that nobody from the Atari Jaguar modding community happens upon this podcast or this show, because it's going to start a war.
Oh my God!
this
You know,
naming you're
Tom Charnock from the Dreamcast Junkyard would have words with us. I'm sure that my friend Andrew Rosa, Mastercast TV. If I don't know if folks know, he doesn't really do a lot of videos anymore, but he's a huge Jaguar fan, and I've had very candid chats with him about how crazy he is for being a Jaguar fan. But again, you know, like, I see the appeal. In the hardware looks badass, and it's very proprietary, and I love the toilet seat CD mechanism. But those things, you could buy 3 of those and not get a working one. They are so notoriously faulty. I would never throw the dice on something like that.
Just get an ODE for it.
I'd like to program, or I'd like to make games for the Jaguar because of its unique controller. Like, there's very few post second generation consoles that have like this cool controller with the numbers.
I would love. It would be rad to program. There was a game like called Uplink that came out for PC. It was like a hacker game. It was like you had to bounce your signal around different continents and stuff like that, and you had to dial phone numbers. You were constantly dialing phone numbers because it was like dial-up modem hacking, right? And that would be a perfect thing for that controller, is make it like a phone pad and dial phone numbers with it or something like that.
I'll dial 911 and tell them I'm held hostage by some crappy ass console.
Yeah, no, I mean it's yeah.
Remove the Saturn from premises immediately.
You could have a Jaguar and have nothing but good, solid games, but you'd be looking at like 10 games at max, you know? So, I mean, and to some folks, that's enough to justify owning the console. If you have
And
10
I thought I was
good
the crazy one for liking the Dreamcast.
Can't you have like prints for the controller, like slide-ins?
overlays,
that-
yeah. Mhm.
Overlays. I wonder how hard those would be to make, because having your own Jaguar game that nobody plays and then having your own print, that's kind of...
There's $500 down the tube for all those printouts.
Yeah. Well, I thought that James and Dan, the Sega guys, were going to join us in the chat, but maybe something came up. Probably the wife.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Or as they say in the UK, the missus said no.
They had to
Denied.
eat some tea. They had to take some tea and crumpets and stuff.
But either way,
British people
we
do.
wish those guys well. And I think, they just released a Virtual Cop episode that folks should check out. That was a really good one. The old ball and chain. Oh man, I got to be careful. I am on live air, and it's my wife's birthday celebration tonight. So I'm gonna
Go
nip
listen
that
to
in
the
the
song
bud.
Lucky Ball and Chain by They Might Be Giants, and you can see our opinions.
Prisoner of Ice. Dan wrote this up. I'm glad he did, because this happened, and then it was like a lot of other stuff was happening. What, a week or two ago? What, Dan? Go ahead and talk. I'll shut up.
Okay. Yeah, and this, I mean, I wish I could have gotten around to writing this sooner. I mean, my life's been just had a lot going on in the last couple of months, so I haven't written for the website too much lately, but I'm trying to get back into it. So I apologize for not getting around to this because a hacker new to the Saturn scene named Pliskin announced a translation patch all the way back on May 7th for a game called Prisoner of Ice Joshin Korin, which is dinner got served just a few minutes ago, so salmon and veggies.
Nice.
So anyway, Prisoner of Ice is a point-and-click adventure game based on the Call of Cthulhu horror franchise. It was originally released for the PC and for Mac in 1995, and it got ported to the Saturn and the PlayStation, but only in Japan in 1997. So Pliskin here, he kind of like with Death Mask and some of the other translations recently the other teams have done, he took the English translations from the original PC version of this game and put it into the PlayStation 1. And then it went so smoothly that he said that he decided to look into the Saturn one as well. And just I don't know, a couple weeks or so after his PS1 version, he put out a Saturn patch. And that was the very first time he ever worked on a Saturn patch. He never hacked the Saturn at all before he put Prisoner of Ice out. Just earlier this month, although just a few days after he released it, he put out a quick updated version of the patch because I guess a crash was happening if there wasn't enough space to do a new save game. It was crashing, so I guess he fixed that. So I've got links in the story to the updated English patch. It's an X Delta type of patch, and the download you get is the patch as well as a copy of the X Delta executable, which is a pretty small little program, and then a very lightweight README file comes with it. I tried to patch. I'll just say I was telling you guys this in text chat earlier today. I tried to patch a copy of the game using this X Delta patcher. And it didn't work because it said that the bin file that I was trying to patch was shorter than it expected. And I think because I had my copy of Prisoner of Ice has like 3 different bin files along with the Q file.
Right.
It's got, a couple of different tracks to it. And I think the X Delta patcher is looking for one big bin file. So if you do download this patch and go to patch it, keep that in mind. That's probably, I haven't tried it yet, but that's probably what it's expecting is one big bin file. I know you can use Night of Dragons Sega Saturn patcher to kind of like combine multiple bin files into one big bin file. So that is an option if you don't rip your legitimate copy of the game as one bin file yourself.
Yeah. So there's the infograms, and it kind of reminds me of that Revolution Studio game, the Beneath a Steel Sky, which also it was point and click. It was like a point and click 'em up, and you're essentially kind of feels like a Scum VM game, like Day of the Tentacle.
Yes. It absolutely. Just I was looking at some footage. It absolutely looks like something LucasArts would have made. Yeah.
Even more so. Revolution Studios. If you look at footage of Beneath the Steel Sky, I actually went to the Wikipedia page thinking that this was going to be like by the same folks, but it's not. It just looks stylistically, art wise, and everything looks so much like them. But and they are heavily inspired by LucasArts as well. But I'm wondering if it was easy enough to do it on Saturn after PlayStation, if it is one of those situations where it's kind of like running on a machine, like a Scum VM type machine. That would explain a lot. It would explain a lot though, because for those games, those LucasArts games that do run on Scum VM, they're pretty much able to, make them work across platforms, and it's like if you know how to work with it on one platform, it's pretty much the same on another platform, because they're typically written in C, so but yeah, so that's cool. That's another game I definitely have to try out, because this one came out of left field for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm not entirely sure why Pliskin was interested in this game in particular, but he did say that he was interested in translating it because there was an English version of it that already existed on PC. He doesn't know Japanese, so he hasn't worked with like a fan translator on anything yet. The first game that he ever hacked a translation into was actually Baroque for the PlayStation. He did that a couple of years ago, right when Night of Dragon and Emerald Nova were beginning to do their Bastard Baroque translation on the Saturn. And and so he Pliskin went from translating Baroque on the PlayStation to doing Prisoner of Ice on the PlayStation, which he did that, I believe, earlier this year. I think like April or something. Like it wasn't too long before he put out the Saturn version of Prisoner of Ice after the PlayStation one. And then after he did that, he told me, I got a chance to talk to him a little bit over Discord, and he said that it went so smoothly working on the Saturn that he's like, well, you know what? It would be a shame if I didn't take that Baroque translation I made a couple of years ago and put it into the Saturn version. So he's working on that now, and even released a kind of a teaser trailer, which I think embedded in the article here.
Let me see here. Okay, so you got this teaser trailer here. Let's take a look.
Coffin Man.
Oh, nice. And it's got like complete dialogue.
It's weird not seeing it being broken English.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not used to seeing it look this way after our only other exposure to this game in English being Baroque, Bastard Baroque.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did make mention in the story that there's no hard feelings from Emerald Nova.
No.
Seemingly about this. He said, that's fine. I'll just link everybody to Pliskin's version of it, because he wants to focus on making his own original game, Senryu. So
yeah. That's been something he's talked about for a long time, so I'm sure that's yeah. This game, this is one that I enjoy playing in bits and short sittings, because again, like, I can't go too far with it not knowing what to do. Emerald's patch definitely made it much more playable. This will definitely help kind of
make it more playable,
make it more enjoyable, I would just say, because of the story and being able to have context. Yes, folks have been able to play it on like the Wii. There was a remake on the Wii and PlayStation 2 for years, but I mean, I like this one because it's got that raw kind of gritty, dark.
The graphics are different. They're actually on the Nerve Tower website, which is a fan-run website, where the translation came from that Pliskin is using. He actually has a cool page on his website that describes the differences between the PS1 version and the remakes are based on the PS1 version, right. and do some more changes on top of that, and the Saturn original. This person who is unnamed, we don't know the name of the author of this website. Pliskin apparently does, but declined to tell me the name of the author because it seemed like he wanted some privacy. So that's fine. We're honoring that.
That's
but the author of the Nerve Tower seems to really revere the Saturn original for kind of having that original kind of darker atmosphere, and I guess more of a better flow to the story. I guess they add some weird, unnecessary, sometimes awkward jokes and stuff like that. So some weird changes are made in the PS1 and the PS2 and the Wii versions. So I think this Nerve Tower person seems to prefer the Saturn version. And he seems very interested in the game. He's as you see, he's got interviews,
an entire site,
with developers, and like supplementary material. It's a fascinating website. You have a chance to look through it. What's that?
The website's regularly updated too.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's translated the concept gallery. It's super cool.
There's a guide, full walkthroughs.
That's where he kind of Pliskin based his translations on. And I guess he got in contact with the author of this website to help translate some stuff that was new in the PS1 version. Some of those changes I talked about. But yeah, so and you know what? Now we're talking about the Saturn version of Baroque's patch here. Pliskin did just put on his Discord server an hour ago. First successful run is complete. There are still plenty of items and dialogues left to check, but I consider this a noticeable milestone anyway. So there you go. He made a full run with his translation.
Well, that's cool. This site is amazing because you see all the NPCs, just click on them. So it's like, if you're going through the game, you click on them and just get the story from them. So it's like,
exactly.
Go to the tower.
You've got like all of the information about pickups and stuff, and
wow.
Yeah, like look at this, different floors, basement floor, tells you everything that you're going to encounter. Wow, this is way better than Game Facts. I know where I'm at.
This is crazy.
I'm going to be using this for sure. I mean, like, and it's not just there. Like, here's a full PlayStation walkthrough as well. Mechanics. That's dedication.
Yeah, I guess another thing they did that made the game worse in subsequent versions after the Saturn one is they padded out the game time for as long as Baroque can be in a full playthrough on the Saturn. They added more floors to the PS1, and then even more floors to the like Wii version. So
right.
I guess it makes the game a slog.
Yes.
For
yeah.
this author.
That's what I've heard as well. That it was just a much more concise experience on the Saturn. So there's even a quick guide here, which is literally just one scrolling page, you know, that gives you kind of a quick guide to just get into it. That's cool. Item list, scene list guide, scene list guide.
It's funny. This website, with its use of frames, feels like it's straight out of like 1998.
I love it.
I know, me too. But I think that the author just put this up in like 2020. It's only a few years old.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I like the vibe of it though.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I think that they're just like folks going back and experiencing older music or older artwork and stuff like that. There are folks that are really interested, just like there are folks that are interested in creating pixel art games or low poly 3D games. There are folks that like to put together websites like this that look all old and not janky, but just like old of a time, of an era.
The thing is that I love the way that this website's laid out, because I love the fact that you don't have to hunt through things. It's like guide, pause, full walkthrough, guides, dialogue. Click on the NPC you're going to talk to. Click on him.
And
this
right
is what
on
he says, the voice lines.
The actual title of the site is just text. It's just like Times New Roman. That's the header. And then it says PS1 patch now available. You click on that and it takes you to the download for it. So that's cool.
I just love this website. And everything you could need, like translations.
Yeah.
It has all laid out, all the all the pre-release interviews, long interviews, visual files, music. Like there's everything. It's like this site is so condensed, so packed.
Don't you wish that
and so concise?
Like, don't you wish there was a site like this for Grandia or for Sakura Wars? You know, I'm sure there are fan sites for Sakura Wars, but like the way that this is laid out and just how much dense information there is here, it's great. Like
honestly, I don't know why this fell out of style. This way of website design, like for information,
it's very to the point.
Perfect.
And hey, there's no ads. Perfect. There's no ads or anything, you know, to bog your computer down. It's just like a passion project, obviously.
All the information for weapons, boxes, like it's like so snappy. Like honestly, I miss web design like this. I know it might not be aesthetically pleasing, but like how laid out it. Like I'm sorry, this website is just amazing. Like,
well, that's the thing. You bring up aesthetically pleasing, but I mean, it's like the vaporwave of the internet. You know, like folks are gonna start. I think that even young kids are gonna start designing websites like this because they see you know stuff on the Wayback Machine and they're like, oh my god, the internet was so cool. You know, all of the what is it, Angel Fire sites and stuff like that, you know, and the old internet was cool, you know. So a lot of the Sega stuff, you know, Sega sites were basically just an image map you know, and then like you'd click on a certain coordinate and it would take you to, but it was just like one image, you know, and it would just load easier, I guess, you know.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I like our site, especially like with the netlink stuff, because like everything like has a clear, concise area. Like netlink, here's all the info to play your netlink online, or like, you know, Pandemonium goes to Pandemonium's channel, or, you know, magazine has all the information in the magazine. It's just laid out videos, goes to our YouTube channel. It's like very like
nice transition, Pat.
Yeah.
No, that was great. Yeah, absolutely. I also need to add to this netlink guide the information for the the tourneys that we're having. Double Dime is basically like our de facto tournament organizer now. I don't know, he volunteered. So yeah, and he's doing a great job. And we're having like a Sega Rally tournament coming up here that was very popular, and the roster filled up like almost immediately. So I think they've decided to go back and split it up West Coast, East Coast. Is that right, Knight? Was that just being talked about, or was that like decided on?
I believe he's trying to set up a Eastern Hemisphere, not East Coast.
Oh, okay, Eastern Hemisphere, and then
West Europe, you know, Germany, all of them.
Sure. So more people can get involved, because I'm sure that a lot of people just weren't present when the announcement went up, and it was like almost immediately it was full. It's funny, not as many people wanting to do decathlete, right? You know, a decathlete is great, but it is kind of a button masher, right? Pat, didn't you do the decathlete tournament?
I did. Not my favorite game. It was fun for what it was, though.
For what it was, yeah.
For what
I mean,
it was.
I know that you're going to be all about the Shadows of the Tusk tournament. I know you
Shadows
are.
of the Tusk, and then the Virtual On.
Right. Oh yeah, and Virtual On. You're going to own on those. Hey, Puzzle Bobble 3 too. Apparently you're
Puzzle Bobble 3.
a king at Puzzle Bobble. I'm going to have to find out.
We'll have to find out one of these days.
Well, anyway, thanks for the article, Dan. Well, thanks for the article. Well, and that was awesome.
My pleasure.
That led to a great conversation, and definitely folks should check out Prisoner of Ice and check out Baroque as we get more information coming down the pipe about this release. That's going to be awesome.
I also want to thank Malenko as well for the $2 back to the douche. Don't read this. So I wasn't supposed to read that. My bad.
James is here in the YouTube chat. Yes, you are late, but that's okay. We shouted you anyway during the show. We thought maybe the missus like held you up or something, or said like no,
or like you got stuck in some very British situation.
Some very British situation.
Like maybe like a turkey on your head or something like that, or I don't know.
A turkey on your head?
Yeah.
That sounds like Friends. That sounds like Joey.
That's Mr. Bean.
Oh, Mr. Bean. Did that joke too?
Yeah,
I wonder who copied who. Maybe
that's a famous thing.
Okay, maybe see, I know that from Friends. Like Joey got a turkey stuck on his head. But I imagine they might have stolen that from Mr. Bean. Then I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise me. It's in Americans.
Sounds
really
like a good bit.
Comedy.
It sounds like a good bit. British comedy is the best. British comedy, Monty Python, man, for the win. I love Monty Python.
Virtual Office. There's all good stuff.
You're not muted, James. So if you come into the chat, you can you
he's in there.
Say hi.
You can still talk. He's right there.
Plug your stuff.
He's vibing.
I'm just laughing at the decathlete stuff. We call it Athlete Kings.
Athlete Kings, right? Exactly.
What a daft name. I know it's called decathlete in the arcade, but every time I just keep thinking of whenever you select an option or press the start button.
Yeah, pretty much.
That noise you get.
So what? What other names? So yeah, they love to do this in the UK. So okay, so story. You guys had Story of Thor 2, right? Which is a proper name. I think we called it. Okay, so ours was Legend of Oasis, but that's because the Genesis game was called. What was the Genesis precursor called? Sorry?
Beyond Oasis.
Beyond Oasis, right? So you had Beyond Oasis, then you had Legend of Oasis, but in the UK they had Story of Thor 2. I wonder if there's any others that are like that, where you guys just had a completely different name for the game.
There was one that was an Amiga game, and it was called, and what I know as here is called Leander. but on the Mega Drive and Genesis, it was called Legend of Galahad. Like completely different name.
Yeah, don't you call Gradius Gradius is called Nimbuses there in the Europe?
Kind of think.
Sometimes
isn't that mentioned Hidden Souls, the sequel to that? Doesn't that have 3 different names as well?
I know the Athlete Kings thing was apparently down to like a copyright. I'm trying to think what the hell could have been copyrighted. They couldn't call something Athlete Kings.
Right.
But I think what brand that they were infringing on that they had to rename Decathlete to that in the UK.
Good call, Captain Hot and Shinobi X. Shinobi X,
yeah,
arguably
Also,
is a
Ray
cooler
Force.
name. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Ray Force.
Yeah.
Shinobi X is a cooler name for a game than Shinobi Legions, I think. And you got the Richard Jakes soundtrack, which was kind of nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about the? I'm pretty sure that the sequel to Mansion of Hidden Souls had like the Spirit Sister didn't have 3 different names.
Mansion of Hidden Souls.
What was the sequel to it? The other one that's in the Mansion sequel.
Well, Lunacy.
Hidden Souls.
Lunacy.
Didn't
So
that have
they
3 different names?
Yeah, they just called theirs TraynoCo. So
Yeah.
the original title was Gekka Mugenton TraynoCo, which translates to it's like person behind the door, right? Or I forget what it was. Oh no, it was Moonflower. That's what it was. Gekka Mugenton TraynoCo was like Moonflower something. We went with Lunacy because of the moon thing, you know.
Yeah.
They went with TraynoCo, which I think is kind of a simplification. It's kind of a reduction of what the. But it's a
Goes
cool sounding
down.
word. They were just like, that sounds cool. We're gonna call ours just TraynoCo.
Mr. Torco. Tommy
Anyway,
Talatorco.
TraynoCo. What else is up, James? What else is new?
Just been battering away into the content kind of trainers, as Dan and I call it. It's when we kind of pedal to the metal. We had like 4 weeks where we didn't record a thing, and then we kind of realised we better get back to some kind of routine. So we've got like a show going out. The one that goes out on Monday, I think we're actually mentioning it. This is the first time we've recorded a show that will be like going out that soon. Usually we're about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ahead. So we've managed to build up a nice wee kind of buffer, but we're expanding on the Sega guys play and fight kind of videos. So Dan tackles the kind of the fight side and I do the race part, because his kind of forte is more the kind of beat 'em up side, and obviously for myself it's the racing games. So
Racing games.
the pod is every fortnight, so we thought we can do something maybe shorter or kind of more game specific in the weeks in between main podcasts. So originally we called them Sega Guys Shorts, but then Dan did a couple in a row where it was fighting games, and I says, well, you know, he kind of done the whole Sega Guys fight thing, and I says, well, if you're going to do fighting games, I'll do the racing side. So the first one I did on that was in Sega Touring Car, and it was, I think yourself, Dave, you mentioned it's a big favourite of yours as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's much
Guilty pleasure.
maligned, but it is a guilty pleasure, mate. That soundtrack, if you don't like, you know, So High, Don't Drop Me Baby, and, you know, just the soundtrack's immense. How Sega could think to pair the boring racing sport of touring cars, you're racing hatchbacks with vehicles.
I know it's Are You Stuck in the Window Pane, but it always sounded like, are you effing awake out there?
It is.
Yep.
That's the lyrics. Are you fucking awake now? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then they try to say that they're not cursing there, but I'm like, no, I think that's what they're saying, and somehow it just made it into a game, you know.
It's like the King of Fighters thing all over again.
It's just.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. Like, it's a grind, doing the content, you know, and you got to keep that passion alive, and you don't want to burn out, you know. And we end up burning the candle at both ends a lot of the times. With the mainline cast, Pat and I are doing SHIRO show every week, right? And Pat's having to edit the VODs and put them up, and there's just and then write articles for the website and stuff. It's a lot. So Peter is at the helm of the mainline cast, and we've gone to a bi-monthly thing where we've got like several casts in the pipeline, but they won't come out for like a month. It's like folks in the Patron are getting access to it now, but it won't actually air for like a month from now. And that way, I guess it'll help keep that at least sustainable, because when you're trying to book a podcast with 4 or 5 guys on it, it's hard for us.
It's a hard thing
to sync our schedules. Yeah.
I mean, the show that we just recorded won't go out until June 26th. Looking at the kind of calendar, but all I'll say is, and Dave, I sent you the promo image that will accompany the thumbnail for the YouTube video for what we recorded. I've not announced it yet, but let's just say that Dan and I are suited and booted, and we have our bow ties on. So that's a teaser for it.
Nice.
Dan's idea for it, given the topic, so we went with it. We might get ribbed for it, but it's a bit of fun. If you take yourself too seriously doing this, mate, then there's no point doing it. You know what I mean? So
nice, Lady Decade exclusive interview. I'm excited.
Top Hat Gaming, man, you gonna world exclusive? You gonna ask the hard hitting questions? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, James. So speaking of you being into racing games,
yes.
Do you have a Netlink yet? Have you managed to pick up a Netlink cart? Because I swear we got to get you on. You do?
We need a play.
I don't know. I was going to say I have not, mate. I would love to get my hands on one and kind of get onto it. I mean, I'll be keeping an eye on the times that you guys are doing in that challenge, and I might even send a couple of wee screenshots your way to see where I stand against the competition. Because
we're doing it. This tournament that we're doing is online, so that adds an element of there's a little bit of latency. I mean, it actually runs really well through the tunnel, but I always say it's kind of a different beast doing offline tournaments. Like your best time. I always use the Celica when I'm doing like an offline tournament. Well, when it comes to the online stuff, I'm like a Delta man all the way, because the handling is a little bit more forgiving when it comes to like the latency. It helps you correct and counter steer a little better.
The Delta's a denser car. The Delta's definitely it's obviously smaller, but it's kind of more, it's a slightly heavier, denser car, so it kind of tends to stick a little bit better. Whereas the Celica really wants to flick its arse out going round corners. So
they'll beat me on the straightaways, right? But when they go into the gauntlet, if they even clip the wall once, then they're going like a pinball. And I'm just like, see ya. It's like tortoise versus the hare,
Yeah.
So I'm banking on the fact that they're gonna clip a wall at one point. If they don't, though, then I've really got to make up for that, But yeah, so I don't. It's a lot of fun, I played Dan, and he was on the East Coast in New York, and we had like a flawless match. It was absolutely perfect, thanks to Joe's tunnel. So definitely hope there's a fly flying around my head, but I definitely hope that at some point you're able to grab a Netlink cart and the little live modem, and we can get you online.
Let's see where you got. It's one thing.
Awesome.
One thing getting your best time, just setting a screenshot of it. It's another thing to play live and play with that latency. That's where the real chest hair gets on you.
Trevo's.
That's the thing as well. It'll be versus racing, won't it? You'll be doing, so I take it if it'll be. Essentially, rather than it being the 2-player split screen, you'll just obviously have the full screen to yourself. So it's not going to be like a time trial per se. It's going to be like a versus 1v1 kind of situation. So it's a totally different environment. Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah, and then we work our way up a bracket. And so there's a bracket with like they're talking about Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere, right. And then just doing a bracket like that, and then it'll be like the final 8, final 4. All the way down to the end there. Several other games. There's 14 games supported by a Saturn Netlink, so there's a lot of good stuff. Puzzle Bobble 3, Puyo Puyo. There's also Decathlete, like we said, and Virtual On, and there's God damn this fly in front of my face. There's Sega Rally. There's Daytona CCE or CE. I prefer the Japanese version. There's also. God, there's a lot of other stuff. Shadows of the Tusk. Pat and I were playing that the other night, and that's like a turn-based kind of strategy on a chessboard kind of thing. Lots of fun. Trevo Student was asking about the Netlink and how exactly it works. It's just the Netlink card was like a 28.8K modem, but It didn't need to be fast, actually, because a lot of the faster, like 56K modems, they compress data a lot. And instead, you want to send button presses uncompressed. So you really just need a slower modem, but that is able to just send stuff uncompressed really quickly, which is why the older modems like Genesis X-Bands, it was like even slower than that. 2600 baud or something like that. But it just sends button presses uncompressed very quickly. So basically that's going into a USB modem that's plugged into your PC, and all of that is just going out over the internet. Well, over your internet router, and then over the internet, and hitting the person on the other side, hitting their Saturn netlink on the other side. And as long as you've got a wired connection and you do the port forwarding and everything, it works really, really well. And I would say that folks who are doing like intercontinental, are probably going to have a lower ping and might experience some lag here and there. But most of the games are playable, for sure. Most of the games are quite playable. And if you are just a few states away, it's no problem at all. Trekkies says he's been debating, should I get a Genesis and SNES X-Band? You might want to, just before they end up becoming more expensive, because a lot of other people might be considering the same thing. But as far as playability and stuff like that, it's not. God damn, this fly is just the
library's just not right there compared to Saturn. The library's not right there now, and maybe that might change.
Yeah, exactly, because they're working on patching. Who was the guy? I don't want to say the wrong.
Maggio.
Play 134. Play one. There's a dude who is patching, in the process of patching Road Rash 3, and it actually is quite playable. So Road Rash 3 is in the process of being patched. A lot of the patches for the Genesis games were lost to time. The servers were shut down, so we lost them there. And then the the X-Band cartridges themselves, the batteries would die, and folks wouldn't be able to retrieve those patches that got saved to those carts. So basically, folks have to go back and repatch the games. But really, it's just a matter of figuring out the memory registers for button input and stuff, and counters for like game scoring and stuff like that. And so really, if there's at this point, it's like if you try to get on and say, hey, I'm interested in playing such and such Genesis X-Band game or SNES game, you have fewer choices, and there aren't as many people doing it right now. I would say we actually have a pretty lively Saturn Netlink community going on, to where when somebody's looking for a match, there's usually somebody who's interested in playing. They get into our Discord and they say, hey, Netlink roster, who's down for Puyo San, and somebody's down. It's easier to find matches, but with X-Band, with Genesis and SNES X-Band, it's not there yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be, within the next year or so. It just took time. What is that comment, James? What on earth is that dialect? Was somebody
laughing at Xenos Interactive saying about, I think he's went away now.
Yeah,
but,
he's gone away.
Like, what on earth is that dialect? God forbid. We all speak English, but there's different dialects and different tones in different parts of the world. God forbid. And this is me enunciating and speaking properly.
Well,
God
of course
forbid
it's Zeno. Of course it's Zenos who has like one of the thickest German accents.
I was going to say that. It's like, I just noticed that he said good night in German. I'm like, I mean, apparently German is the easiest language for Scottish people to learn because both are extremely violent languages.
Is that right?
Accents. Apparently it's quite kind of aggressive in terms of the way the wording sounds. Apparently it's meant to be very easy for Scottish people to learn German and vice versa. Obviously, for them to learn kind of some of our phrases.
Well. Interesting.
So I've read. Whether that's true, I don't know. I mean, that's just.
Kannst du durchsprechen, Sigaholic? Hast du in Schule gelernt? Ich habe in Schule gelernt.
He said it was easy for Scottish people to learn German. He didn't say he knew German.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
But anyway, yeah. So that's great. You know, James, I'm really glad that you're doing the racing series because I'm a racing nut and definitely Saturn racing nut. So
I thought you were going to say you're racist.
yeah. That racist racing series. No, James is a big racing game fan, and so am I. That's probably one of my favorite genres of games, and there's a lot of great racing games on the Saturn. So I'll definitely be following that close when you drop episodes on that. But yeah,
I need to get good at racing games.
You know what, Pat? I've actually got people coming over, and I got to go pick up a pizza and everything like this. So we got to like wrap this thing up.
That works.
Yeah,
right.
We got to do it.
Yeah, let me give me the patrons. We actually got some new patrons this week. Actually, got 2 dose. Well, actually, that was last week, but we had a new one. We had 2. I don't know if we shout on Pat Hansel and then Andrew Harden are the 2 new patrons. So thank you for patronizing and Patreoning.
Thank you for patronizing us.
Patronizing and patronizing us. One of the 2.
Is that what led to Pandemonium's tweet with you earlier, Pat, where he just dropped 69 and just left it at that?
Wait, what?
The tweet I seen earlier between yourself and Pandemonium, the patron numbers had hit 69. They just kind of put the eyes emoji up and went 69.
I think those are
that's his patron.
Oh, is that his?
Yeah, because he has his own. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doubling down. No, but yeah, no. I just posted the video of his Craig Sadler thing where he says "nice" in response, and then I posted the silly Roger Waters opinions of people, but I don't think we're gonna get political on the show. Yeah,
with so little time left to get into
if
that.
you guys want to talk to me about Roger Waters' silliness, you can. If you go on Patreon, you can talk to me. No, I'm just joking. Just add me at Twitter if you want to talk about it. But I tweeted it out. I thought it was pretty silly. The whole situation's kind of bizarre. So if you're a Pink Floyd fan or Roger Waters fan, go at me on Twitter and we'll discuss it. But anyways, to shout out our patrons, gotta give a big shout out to A Murder of Crows, Blue Moon 95, Emerald Nova, Johannes Fetz, Nate Lawrence, Cerillion, David Zaney, Derek aka A-Team, Fat Drunk Friend Otaku, Jim Clasher Rank, Justine, Momphis, Normal Guy, Nutrageous, Robert Ramsey, Rowan Dished, Sega Steve, Stoneman, Tanuki Trev, Theron Brown, and Young Money Sowie. If you guys want to get chat on the SHIRO show, you can backset the $10 and up level. And you get a bunch of good bonus benefits on top of that if you go to the $3 level, and $3 and up level, which is, early beta translations, early SHIRO, or the early SHIRO podcasts, early SHIRO videos when we release them, early Pandemonium videos, and then at the $1 level, no, I think it's $3 level up, we're doing the early magazines and early modems when we get those going, but we're still working on them.
And anything else that we end up doing, you're gonna have
all the good shit.
Front seat. Not to mention, did you mention the private chat, like the insider chat in our Discord? I think you did.
We also have an insider chat where we pretty much have exclusives, like me posting child photos of myself, talking about spicy memes.
Be careful, Pat.
What? No, not that way, dude.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
Yeah, just be careful what you say. I know you're always joking, but YouTube.
me as a kid with like as a little kid, not like
Yeah.
You guys are messed up.
Right.
You guys are messed up. Seriously messed up.
I'm so used to you being messed up that I just assumed.
But not that messed up.
Yeah. Has foot and mouth disease. I like that.
Like I said, this cool content, tattoo pics. I don't know did I show my tattoo on the show yet? I don't know if I did.
You did last week.
Okay,
yeah,
well, that's
it was great.
Covered. Yeah, I'll show early tattoo pics, just life things as well, and just like early discussion of things. If you guys want some insider discussion,
and if you want to recommend, if there's like something you want us to cover on the SHIRO show or on the podcast that we haven't covered,
or on the news article,
and you're supporting us at I believe it's the $10 level. $3 and up.
$10. So $10 for the suggestion. Sorry, I meant
$10 and up. Yeah, sorry. You can request us to cover a certain topic, and we'll definitely put it on the schedule.
Yeah, just send a DM to the account and we'll look it over and we'll reply to you.
And yeah, other than that, I just want to thank everybody who has supported us either through, likes and shares or one-time donations. Thanks again to Malenko for his regular $2 Shiro Show special. Last week, I think it was $3 because he just wanted to change things up. But we appreciate everyone, regardless of whether they're able to support us monetarily or not. Everything that you guys do, it helps to grow the community, the Saturn community, and help spread the Saturn love.
Every little thing helps.
And yeah, with that, I think we'll just go to credits, right? SaturnDave and TraynoCo, and also James the Segaholic, reminding you that you must play your Sega Saturn. Until next time.
Must.
Peace.
SEGA Saturn SHIRO